All right. So the Bulls got a bounce since our update yesterday. And if we recall what happened yesterday, we were still in this falling wedge pattern since we have broke down from that bear flag I've been talking about this whole week, right? Which dropped the price action all the way back down to about 82,000, 81,000 ish, right? That was kind of the target range for that breakdown. And pretty much the Bulls got a pretty good bounce here, since it has hit about 81.5, right? And broke out of this falling wedge pattern. So it has gotten a pretty good bounce. I mean, like a 1-2% bounce, right? So very important to be paying attention to what is happening right now because we are still on shaky levels, right? I still got quite a bit of longs in the market, and what I'll be paying attention to, as I am still, you know, uh, I'm still shaky on the short term, but for a more medium term outlook, I am still bullish on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. I'm still thinking that there's going to be a bull cycle that's going to continue sometime to the end of the year. So let's see if where this bull market would actually resume. Right, but that is just my speculations and opinions, of course, not financial advice. And what I'm seeing here is since the price action has broken out of this falling wedge pattern on the hourly time frame here, we have actually hit the hourly 50 moving average as resistance, and we're seeing a smaller falling wedge pattern, which is not uncommon to see, right? And let's see if this price action can actually break above the hourly 50 SMA here. Now, like I said yesterday, I'm since this is a new breakdown from that falling that bear flag pattern, right? So I'm looking at very smaller time frames on the hourly, even 15 minutes if I am trading on the 15 minutes. Currently, I actually put in a long here because I am seeing that there was a possible breakout, and we have actually broken out of this falling wedge pattern. So I thought it was, I put in a small long leverage position, right, into Jasmy. Not that I favor Jasmy in any sense, but it is one of the bigger altcoins that correlates. Well, all altcoins correlate with Bitcoin, really, if you look at the longer term chart. But I put it in to Jasmy because it's a bigger altcoin, so it's not likely it's going to go down as significantly as the smaller altcoins, right? Where it would go down like 50, 70% even, right? Especially after a pump. So I put in a leverage position for that, and my logic is that, if I have to cover it, right? If the trade goes wrong, it has and it can. So that's why you don't want to just follow anyone on the internet. You got to have your own logic and do your own research, right? But my logic behind that is if the trade goes wrong, I can still cover it. It's probably not going to go down as significantly as the smaller altcoins. Maybe like it's not going to go down 50, 70% in a week, right? So that's my logic, but that is just me, right? You guys let me know what you guys are doing down in the comment section below. How are you guys holding on in this weird bull market, right? Completely weird, especially if you guys have seen the bull market back in 2020, 2021. That was a lot more straightforward, but right now it's definitely a little bit of a weird time. Especially after 2024, right? 2023, 2024, that was pretty straightforward as well. Great altcoin markets ever since last year. It's been a whole year since we've been in this kind of just weird consolidation period. We had a little bit of a pump back in November, December, but since then it's been just a lot of hodling, right? So that's basically what I'm seeing here. This level is very important. I talked about it yesterday, right? Let's come to the 3-day time frame here. Okay, get a more clear look. I think this chart will give us a more clear look on what's happening in this market, right? So, as of the last 3-day candle, we still have a higher low, right? That's very important. I look out for higher lows because I usually take those as an entry point, right? I don't get in on higher highs usually, right? That's riskier. I usually look for higher lows. And this 3-day candle hasn't exactly closed yet. We still have a little bit more than a day. So this could still be a higher low trajectory. I mean, not looking good at the moment, but we are at, a pretty important zone here that the bulls do not want to lose, which is about the 80,000 ish zone, right? Because we really don't have that much support underneath that, right? If you guys actually look at the chart yourself, right, you guys can see that if we actually zoom out a little bit more, 80,000, right? The weekly candle, 80,000, you get a much clearer look. If you actually dip below 80,000, it's gonna be a pretty decent drop here, right? You might get, there were 2 weeks below 80,000. And one of them is at about 76.5, which is also where the weekly 50 SMA is at. And if we actually, consider the S&P 500, which, there is high correlation, usually between S&P 500 and the Bitcoin charts. S&P 500 has already gone down to the weekly 50 SMA, right? So could that be front running the Bitcoin chart? So definitely want to take this into consideration, that Bitcoin can come down to the weekly 50 SMA, which is at about 76,000, right? That is, so those are going to be some bearish case scenarios here. Some bullish case scenarios points that I could still make is that, we have just broken down below that weekly 50 21 SMA, which is the blue line, right? And has not retested that line yet. So from my couple of years of trading, a couple of years of profitable trading, right? I have not seen, it's uncommon to see that, price action breaks down below a support and does not come up to retest it as resistance. So that is a bullish point I can make, right? Now, that's basically what I'm seeing here. I think it's very important to be paying attention into the 3-day charts, which closes about tomorrow, right? Monday, and the shorter time charts here, and see if we can get any clues on if this thing is going to be getting a bounce or continue to break down lower to that 76,000 area. Now, some short-term clues I could be looking out for would be, if we can actually get higher highs and higher lows against this drop here, right? So the next high I'll be looking for will be about 84,000. If we can get hourly candle closes above 84,000, that will start to look pretty good, at least in the short term, right? And then if we can get back, if we can reclaim about 85,000 ish, which was basically where this high was at, that's to tell me that the bulls are actually, breaking back above the resistance it has broken below, which would be a much better sign. But until then, I think we are still on shaky platform, and it's very important to be paying attention. Which is very important to be paying attention. Anyways, I pay attention on the daily. So if you guys do want to, get daily updates on what I think about this market, I look at these charts almost constantly whenever I'm not doing anything. I'm looking at these charts, trying to make some money off this market, right? So if that sounds like it's going to be helpful to you, make sure to like and subscribe. And this brings me to my updates today, and I will see you guys next time.